Welcome to the Bookworm Duo, where we explore a variety of books. Let's get started.
Today we're doing a deep dive into Emily Henry's Great Big Beautiful Life. We'll be walking through the story as it unfolds.
Okay, so it kicks off with Alice Scott, she's a writer, and she lands this, well, potentially huge job.
Right, writing the biography of Margaret Ives, this really reclusive former Hollywood icon, it's a massive opportunity for Alice.
Definitely. So Alice heads off to this small island in Georgia where Margaret lives. Pretty remote place.
And the first person she meets there isn't Margaret, it's Jody. Greets her at the door.
Yeah, and Jody has this accent Alice can't quite place. German, maybe. Add a little mystery right away.
Alice goes inside, and the house is, beautiful, but a bit faded, maybe.
And she notices something missing. Or rather, lots of things missing.
Exactly. No family photos, no Grammys for Cosmo Sinclair, her late husband. Nothing like you'd expect.
Which is odd, right? It makes Alice wonder why Margaret seems so keen to distance herself from her own past.
Then she meets Margaret, and their first chat is memorable.
Huh? Yeah, Margaret's very direct. A little quirky.
She even asks Alice, straight up, if she's always this perky.
Ouch. And then Margaret says she needs time to think about it after just one meeting.
Right. So Alice leaves feeling like, oh, wow, maybe I blew it. The dream job might be gone already.
So she ends up staying the night at the Grande Lucia Resort. Kind of down, probably.
And she does what we all do, right? Starts Googling. Specifically, Hayden Anderson.
Ah, that name that came up briefly before. Interesting.
Yeah, something about him caught her attention, but just as she's maybe giving up hope on the biography.
Phone rings.
Yes, it's Jody calling her back, asking her to come back to Margaret's later that day. Dinner time.
Oh, wow. Okay, so opportunity's back on the table.
Alice is thrilled, obviously. Says yes immediately.
So she goes back, and this time she brings flowers for Jody, which is nice, and some wine.
Good thinking. And this time she's properly introduced to Hayden Anderson.
The guy she was just Googling.
Exactly. Margaret mentions he was there the day before, too. And Alice, being a writer, she knows his name.
Knows his work, she says. Maybe a hint of awkwardness there, like professional awareness?
Could be. Then Margaret drops the bombshell.
Oh, yeah?
She wants both of them. A 1-month audition to co-write the story.
Co-write. Wow, okay, that's unconventional.
Definitely sets up a dynamic, doesn't it? A bit tense, maybe.
For sure. Alice suggests they divide the days, split the time with Margaret.
And Hayden seems a bit hesitant, but he agrees eventually. You can already sense maybe different working styles clashing.
So outside of the actual writing sessions, Alice starts noticing Hayden around the resort.
Yeah, like his routine, getting green tea, little things like that. She's observing him.
They have a couple of, well, kind of awkward interactions.
Alice offers him tea, a croissant.
Huh.
Small talk, basically. He does take it eventually.
Trying to bridge that gap, maybe. Soften the rivalry.
Perhaps. Meanwhile, Alice is actually starting the real work, researching Margaret's background.
Right, starting with her hometown, Dillon Springs, Pennsylvania, the Ives family history.
Getting the foundation laid. And
Right.
she's proactive, too.
How so?
She starts contacting freelance fact-checkers. Smart move.
Yeah, anticipating that Margaret's stories might need verification. Their memories, after all.
Exactly. Then, in one of their sessions, Margaret starts opening up about her family history. Begins with her great-grandfather.
Lawrence Ives, the founder of Ives Media. This is where the deep history starts.
Margaret tells them about his early life, how driven he was, mining for fortune.
And the family dynamics were complicated even back then, especially with his brother, Thomas.
Yeah, lots of tension there. Lawrence had this dream, finding the mother lode.
And that big strike. And he eventually did succeed, right? Driven by wanting to help his family back home.
That's the story Margaret tells. And then she mentions something else. Lawrence kept journals.
Oh, where are they?
They were willed to Margaret's sister, Laura, but Laura's sort of estranged.
Okay. So mystery journals and a missing sister. Adds intrigue.
Definitely. Alice is getting hooked, you can tell. She feels this connection forming, like her own story is somehow linked to Lawrence's.
That happens with biography, right? You get drawn in.
But she also senses Margaret holding back sometimes, being evasive.
So Alice starts wondering, why now? Why agree to this biography after all these years of silence?
What's the real motivation? Margaret drops a hint, mentions a promise she made.
To someone who died.
Yes. Suggests something deeper, more personal driving this whole thing.
While all this is going on, Alice is still juggling her own work, right? Freelancing for this Correct.
Gotta pay the bills. It keeps her grounded in her own life, too.
And her interactions with Hayden continue. There's this awkward moment at a local bar, fishbowl.
Yeah, a misunderstanding. Alice misreads something he does or says. Classic early relationship stuff almost.
Their dynamic is shifting, isn't it? From just colleagues or rivals to something else.
It really is. It comes out more during a walk home one evening. They start sharing more personal things.
Like Hayden mentioning he's never dated anyone under 5'3".
Yeah. Such a specific random detail, but it sticks with Alice. It's personal.
Then Margaret shifts gears in her storytelling, moves on to her grandfather.
Gerald Ives. Lawrence's son, the one who really built the media empire.
Taking that mining money and turning it into newspapers, influence.
Right. Margaret talks about his ambition, his marriage to Rosalind Goodlett, daughter of a senator, very strategic.
And acquiring papers in New York. Building power.
But Gerald also had issues with his own father, Lawrence, and he apparently favored his younger son, Freddie.
More family drama carrying through the generations. It's a pattern.
And then there's Gerald's Hollywood chapter. He apparently abandoned his family after some kind of scandal.
Wow. Just ups and leaves for Hollywood. Adds another layer of drama to the Ives name.
So as Alice and Hayden are digging into all this family history, their own connection is growing too.
They start sharing more personal stuff.
Yeah.
Vulnerabilities.
Yeah. Hayden talks about his parents' memory, anxieties linked to someone close to him who passed away, Len.
And Alice opens up too. About her own upbringing.
Mm-hmm. Her unconventional childhood, challenges with her sister, that kind of shared vulnerability really builds intimacy.
Leads to more than just talking, eventually.
It does. Another walk after dinner, a moment, and they kiss.
So the professional lines are definitely getting blurry now.
Very much so. And then Margaret drops another family bombshell, a really big one.
Bigger than the Hollywood scandal.
Oh, yeah. It involves Ruth Ives Allen. Turns out she wasn't Gigi's daughter, as everyone thought.
No, then whose?
She was the result of an affair between Gerald and someone named Nina Gill.
Whoa, okay. That's huge. A secret hidden for generations.
Margaret talks about how carefully it was guarded, the potential fallout. She even mentions a family curse tied to the truth.
Heavy stuff. So Alice and Hayden are processing this, still working.
Right. They even visit Margaret's workshop. She makes these intricate sea glass mosaics.
Including a labyrinth. That sounds symbolic.
Very. It gives them another glimpse into Margaret herself, her creative side.
And Margaret keeps sharing, talks about her own parents now.
Freddie Ives, Gerald's favored son, and Bernie Bernhardt, a director. Their Hollywood lives, complicated relationship.
Alice must be feeling completely immersed by this point.
Totally. Invested in getting the whole story, the real story.
Life outside the project continues, though. There's another awkward social event.
Yes. A sort of fake birthday party for Cecil Willoughby at the Fishbowl.
Cecil? Okay, remember that name. Why fake?
It's just some Cecil does, apparently. Anyway, Hayden's there too.
More awkwardness between him and Alice.
Definitely. Unresolved feelings simmering. Leads to an argument later.
Oh, dear. What about?
Misunderstandings, insecurities, probably fueled by the weird party vibe. It's messy, like real relationships can be.
Meanwhile, back on the history track, Margaret reveals another detail.
About the family inn, Gerald renamed it in 1919.
Why is that year significant?
It's the year his father, Lawrence, died.
Interesting timing. Anything else?
Lawrence's last word. Margaret shares it.
What was it?
Nicolette.
Nicolette. Okay, another mystery name.
Exactly. And they do find out more about Nicolette later, someone very important in Lawrence's life.
It just keeps getting deeper, this family history.
Margaret starts reflecting more philosophically, too, about love, sacrifice, choices her ancestors made.
Applying it to her own life, too, maybe? She talks about her parents' divorce.
Yeah, and her father's behavior afterwards, giving a more nuanced view of them.
Then Alice makes a big move in her own life, personally.
She takes Hayden home to meet her mother.
Wow, okay. That's a significant step for them. How does that go?
It seems to go well. Hayden gets insight into Alice's background. Her mom, Angela, even makes this surprising comment about initially hating Alice's dad.
Really? Adds another layer to Alice's story.
And Alice and Hayden seem comfortable together there. Share a moment, fall asleep on the porch bench. Things feel solidifying.
But then external drama arrives, literally.
Hurricane, heading straight for the island.
Oh boy. So Margaret has to prep her place. Everyone does.
Alice hunkers down in her rental bungalow. Power goes out. It's intense.
Does she write it out alone?
No. Hayden comes over, seeks shelter with her.
Trapped together during a hurricane. That tends to escalate things.
Definitely. Their intimacy deepens physically and emotionally. Shared crisis, you know.
After the storm, Margaret seems ready to talk about the big one. Cosmo Sinclair.
Yes. And she starts by saying she initially hated him.
Hated him. Really? Why?
Blamed him for the chaos at that concert where her sister Laura got hurt. Held him responsible.
Wow. So how did they even get together?
She talks about their first proper meeting at a library of all places. He came to apologize.
And she was receptive.
Not at first. She says she was rude, cold, but something must have clicked eventually.
They started writing letters.
Yeah, correspondence. And then they met again at an after party, and the connection was just undeniable, intense.
But there was still the issue with her sister, Laura.
Right. Margaret shares how difficult things were for Laura after the concert. And Laura got involved with this psychologist, Dr. David. It seemed controversial.
And Laura pulled away from the family.
Yes, sent a letter saying she needed space. Went off on her own.
So Alice and Hayden are piecing all this together. They even visit Bonaventure Cemetery.
Very atmospheric place. Good for reflection, maybe. They keep talking it through.
Margaret continues the story. Cosmo was her rock after Laura left.
He really supported her. And eventually they decided to elope. Keep it private.
Away from the Ives family spotlight. But what happened with Laura and Dr. David?
It didn't end well. Margaret details the problems, how Laura was eventually found in a really bad state, distressed, at a diner.
Oh, that's awful. Did she recover?
She did eventually, and Margaret emphasizes Cosmo's role in that recovery, helping her heal after the whole Dr. David ordeal.
He sounds like he was really there for them.
He does, but then Alice has a sudden realization. A connection.
What is it?
The name of Margaret's current doctor, Cecil Willoughby.
The guy from the fake birthday party. What about him?
Alice realizes that name. Cecil Willoughby was also connected to Laura's past, involved somehow with the Dr. David situation.
Wait, the same name?
The exact same name.
Whoa, okay. That can't be a coincidence.
That's what Alice thinks. Suddenly, the whole biography project feels off, really off. Why is this Cecil here now?
She has to ask Margaret, right?
She does. She confronts Margaret about Cecil, reveals what she's figured out.
How does Margaret react?
Shocked, caught. The facade just crumbles.
And the truth comes out.
The big truth. Margaret admits she was pregnant with Cosmo's child, back when the concert accident happened.
Pregnant? So, what happened to the baby?
Their daughter was born. They named her Nicolette.
Nicolette.
Yeah.
Like Lawrence's dying word.
Exactly. But Margaret gave her up for adoption.
Oh, wow. Why?
Fear. Terrified the child could never have a normal life under the Ives family microscope, the scrutiny, the pressure. Cecil helped arrange it.
So the biography
Was all a setup, a ruse, a way for Margaret to be on the island, spend time there. It was part of her plan to disappear, maybe some kind of penance she felt.
And Alice's role. And Hayden's.
Margaret confesses Hayden was always meant to write the story. The job offer to Alice. It wasn't real. She was just a pawn in Margaret's plan.
Oh, that is brutal. How does Alice take that?
Devastated, hurt, betrayed, completely understandable.
Does Margaret try to salvage it?
She offers to let Alice still write a story, collaborate somehow.
But Alice can't, can she?
No, she feels she can't work under those lies, and she wouldn't betray Hayden like that either. She chooses to leave.
The right call, but painful.
Absolutely. She goes back to her rental, completely reeling, texts her friends, tries to process it all.
Does she talk to Hayden?
He confronts her. He's found out, too, about Margaret's deception.
How does that conversation go?
Difficult, tense at first, probably, but they talk it through, honestly, and it seems to reaffirm their feelings for each other. They understand where the other is coming from.
So what's next for Alice?
She decides to go home, back to her mother. Needs that connection, that grounding.
And the writing.
She starts writing again, but her own story this time, incorporating everything she learned, the truths, the complexities of Margaret Ives, but on her own terms.
Wow. What a journey for her. And for Margaret.
It really is. This deep dive into great, big, beautiful life just uncovers layer after layer of family secrets, these intense connections, and this constant search for truth, especially when living under a microscope.
Margaret Ives builds this whole life, this image, but underneath it's full of pain, these incredibly hard choices, especially giving up her daughter, Nicolette.
And Alice's story, it really shines a light on what it means to write about someone's life, the ethics involved, especially when things get personal, when there are hidden motives.
Plus, you have the Alice and Hayden relationship developing right in the middle of all this drama.
Yeah.
From rivals to something real.
Yeah, the book digs into so much family, love, loss, secrets, and ultimately finding the courage to face your past, maybe define your own future.
Makes you think about those family legacies, doesn't it? How much they weigh on people. And what does it even mean to have a great, big, beautiful life if it's built on secrets or what others expect.
Thanks for joining us. Subscribe for more bookish adventures and hit that like button if you enjoyed the ride. Don't forget to share the knowledge, spread the word.